the First Lady, Dr. Amai Nangabu, the Vice President and Second Secretary of ZANU-PF, Honorable General Retired Dr. Constantino Guvera Dominic Nyukadzino-Chwene, the Honorable Vice President, Second Secretary of ZANU-PF, Colonel Retired Kembo Dugish Muhadi, the National Chairman of ZANU-PF, Honorable Opa Chamu Zipange Mchingurigashiri, the Secretary for Administration, Comrade Obed Mpofu, in absentia. Today, our comrades Mozambique, Frelimo, they are celebrating their 60th anniversary. So I have sent our Secretary General, Comrade Mpofu, to represent me. Members of the Politburo and Central Committee of ZANU-PF, Secretary for Women's League and President of the Senate, Comrade Memory Nebos Nomona, the outgoing members of the National Executive of the Women's League, Women's League affiliate organizations, representatives from our sister revolutionary parties who are present, conference delegates, distinguished guests, comrades and friends. It is my singular honor and privilege to address you all at this official opening of the 7th National Conference of the ZANU-PF Women's League. This elective conference, being held under the theme Total Political, Social and Economic Emancipation for Every Woman by 2030, is defining and must set the tone for greater involvement of women towards the realization of our national vision to be an empowered and prosperous people of middle-income society by 2030. I want from the onset to commend the immense contribution milestones achieved by the women of our great country. I'm also impressed by the excellent organization you have achieved. You, the women, are the consistent and reliable bedrock of the party's support base. Your mobilization abilities in the 2018 harmonized general elections helped our colossal party, ZANU-PF, to roll to a landslide victory where our usual detractors were left continuing their bitter loss for a period of 5 years. The successes and inroads you have made in various sectors of the economy, such as agriculture, mining, tourism, and manufacturing, is equally commendable. I had the opportunity to be taken around at the exhibition. I have recommended to your leader that it is necessary that we direct ZIMTrade under the Ministry of Industry and Commerce women of Zimbabwe, and indeed the women in our region, we were together in the trenches during the armed struggle, and you continue to play your role in building our great motherland, Zimbabwe. Well done, the women of Zimbabwe. Well done. Well done to you, the Women's League of our colossal mass party, ZANU-PF. I have all the confidence that you can achieve much more. Hence, as you convene here today, it is incumbent upon this crop of leaders of the Women's League to shift the perspective and discourse around the role of women in society, in our party, and in national development as a whole, to ensure gender equality and sustainable women empowerment for future generations. My government, and indeed the party, recognizes that women have an important, indispensable role to play towards sustainable economic development and prosperity for any nation. When women are present at the national decision-making table, our development is accelerated. Indeed, when women thrive, we all thrive, and the nation thrives also. This conference must therefore address the contemporary issues that will drive greater participation of women in the socio-economic and political arena. You cannot afford to undertake your affairs in a business-as-usual manner. We must build our own country. Nika! I challenge you to reignite, rejuvenate, and modernize all structures to make them more relevant to the world of today and the needs of the future. You are a strategic wing of our colossal revolutionary party and cannot afford to remain stuck in the storages and concepts of the past. It is imperative that your discussions, programs, projects, and activities evolve in line with the present multi-pronged developmental agenda of our party. Furthermore, there is need for you to boldly talk about the issues that hold you back as women, while developing and implementing collaborative strategies of confronting them. It is my expectation that your resolutions and strategies will emerge from this 7th National Conference for the capacitation of women to more ably adapt to the contemporary needs of the present and the future socio-economic political environment of our country. The combined voice of women is powerful and can uplift our communities in line with our quest to realize development that leaves no one and no place behind. I therefore urge you to stand up for each other across all sectors of the economy through inspiring, mentoring, sponsoring each other, as well as by telling and sharing your success stories. Don't allow yourselves to be divided or to be used by us. And also, never allow yourselves to be ignored. Stand up and stop. Meanwhile, I want to heartily welcome visitors from our sister revolutionary parties who are here, and other progressive organizations from the region and beyond. Welcome. Please feel free among your counterparts in our revolutionary party, ZANU-PF. We respect you. We love you. We are one. We are bonded by our rich history and aspirations for a prosperous and a shared future. As we gather today, we solemnly remember and honor our fallen heroines who passed on and diligently served the party and the Women's League in particular at various levels across the country. We pay special tribute to trailblazing women such as the late national heroines like Comrade Jane Lungile-Ngwenya, Dr. Ellen Gorazimba, whom we lost since the advent of the Second Republic, as well as most recently the late Comrade Evelyn Mpofu, who was the vice chairwoman of Matabele South Province Women's League. May their souls rest in eternal peace. My dear delegates, it is our tradition and practice to periodically choose leaders to serve within the party. I commend the Women's League for the peaceful and the cordial manner in which you conduct your provincial conferences across the 10 provinces of our country, despite, I hear, interferences from the main wing. The high number of aspiring candidates who expressed their desire to be part of the Women's League National Executive highlights the rising level of women's political consciousness, willingness, and sense of responsibility to save our revolutionary party, ZANU-PF. Well done to you, the Women's League, for the smooth, peaceful, democratic processes you are exhibiting now. It is my expectation that this distinct and characteristic feature of our DNA as a revolutionary party will continue to shape the processes of our 7th elective conference as we elect the respective heads of departments of your national executive. Our transparent internal democratic processes must be interpreted within the context that our goals, our aims, and objectives as the People's Party are delivered through principled and the people-centered policies by honest people. The renewal of the Women's League must equally translate to the overall strength of the party, encouraged on grassroots mobilization as enunciated in our rallying call, Musangano Kupi, I commend women through the Women's League for actively participating in our recently held ZANU-PF National Cell Day. The week must continue strengthening and verifying its structures ahead of the 2023 harmonized general elections. The empowerment and emancipation of women and girls remain an integral part of the ZANU-PF government's political philosophy. In light of this, stereotypes that degrade and undermine the rights of women and girls will not be tolerated under the Second Republic. We are alive to the unfolding complex struggles which women face in their daily lives. My government is therefore determined to eradicate harmful practices such as gender-based violence, sexism, tribalism, regionalism, and other silent systems of discrimination. These primitive and callous traits are not consistent with our values as a revolutionary party. Sadly, however, the women of our country continue to bear the negative consequences of the illegal economic sanctions imposed on our country, as well as the brute profiteering tendencies by some unscrupulous business people. I'd like to inform you that after the advent of the Russia and Ukraine war, I received communication from the United States of America urging me as President of Zimbabwe not to have close relations with Russia. That we must cut our defense and security relations, our political relations, economic cooperation, education and scientific cooperation. Then I said, we understand that the West, the USA included, they have imposed sanctions on Russia. And it is a fact that Zimbabwe has sanctions from the USA. Is there any logic for Russia, which is a victim of sanctions, and Zimbabwe, which is a victim of sanctions, that victims of sanctions not talk to each other? My government will tomorrow be announcing concrete measures to tame inflation and unwarranted increases in the prices towards securing the incomes and savings of our people, particularly women. We remain committed to ensure sustainable delivery of social services such as water and sanitation, availing affordable and quality education, improving access to green energy solutions, among others. Under the responsive policies of the Second Republic, women are being facilitated to realize their individual and collective aspirations, riding on their immense capabilities, skills, and competencies. This has seen the appointment of more women in positions of responsibility and decision-making in the public sector. The ZANU-PF government has amended the Constitution to extend the women's quota in Parliament, which means that besides the 210 seats for the National Assembly, which are open to everybody, we are preserving an additional 60 seats just to preserve for women. For another period of 10 years. Thereafter, I believe that women will be so developed that they can compete with anybody. But if not, we will extend again. As mentioned by Commissioner Mona, we also, under the Second Republic, added another 30% above the normal number of the local authorities. We add 30% women. Additionally, under the Second Republic, many more women have been appointed within constitutional institutions that support democracy, as well as boards of parastatals. As a special constituent of our country's demography and human capital base, the national chairman, Comrade Mthuli, mentioned that and our population, with regard to our population in the country, 52% are women. She's saying, Malamo. I'm Africa. You are 52% of the 52% of the population is women, 48% is women. Is men, okay. It's frightening, eh? Under the Second Republic, the potential of women will be harnessed, deployed, and supported to produce goods and services that meet our current realities and ultimately contribute to our national vision. This is more so as women have unapologetically broken the glass ceiling, proving that there are no tasks or sectors which are out of their bounds. Congratulations. The decision by my government to start the Women's Microfinance Bank and a plethora of other empowering initiatives is ample testimony that we are alert to your needs. But this should not make you afraid to demand for more. Meanwhile, I exhort the Women's League to increase collaboration and partnerships across the social and economic spectrum. There is no room for silos. You are stronger working in unity and common purpose. As such, the broad networks of the Women's League affiliate organizations must be effectively harnessed, along with the various resources available in progressive development partners to advance women in our communities, workplaces, and the marketplace. It is your duty as leaders to facilitate the creation of opportunities for the women of our country to reach their full potential, for the attainment of gender equality, our national aspirations, and the national development goals. I commend the Women's League for the production and distribution of COVID-19 personal protective equipment, sanitizers, and the mobilization of men across provinces to get vaccinated. I saw the Women's League producing these things. Across all the provinces. The men will never do anything. Anyway, what we saw were the Women's League moving from province to province, training people to produce masks and so on. I'm sure the Vice President, the Minister of Health, is very grateful for that. As a government and as a party, we recognize that women are peace builders. It is very important, therefore, that more women in positions of responsibility in both the public sector and the private sector across the political divide should be promoted. You must say no to violence. And you must come out preaching unity, preaching peace, preaching love and harmony in our country. After all, there can be no development without peace and security. These are the bedrock of any development. Unity, peace, and development are some of the critical ingredients which build this colossal revolutionary party throughout our struggle. The Women's League structures across all levels must close ranks and unite as one. During the armed struggle in 1977, we realized that the women in our armed struggle were playing a critical role, and we formed the Women's League at Shai in Mozambique. 1977. Up to today, you are now a colossal Women's League. You as Women's League and your structures across all levels must close ranks and unite as one. Don't allow yourself to be divided. It is through unity and love and harmony that our party political power base is consolidated. Together with other wings of the party, the Men Wing, the Youth League, the War Veterans League, we have an onerous task to educate some of the youth and other members of our society against being misled by false and malicious narratives being propagated by some opposition foreign-funded political parties. The strategic role of the Women's League is critical in educating the young generation and society at large on the country's history and our vision. The hard and dark experiences of the colonial era can never be whitewashed away. It must be made clear to all our people that those who imposed sanctions on us wish ill upon our country and our people. We must never be hoodwinked by their disguises as champions of good governance, as champions of democracy and human rights. We fought for our democracy. It was never given to us on a silver platter. We fought for it and liberated ourselves. So those cannot Today, our lecturers on democracy, I say no, never. Most of them and their agents are wolves in sheep's clothing. Let us never be deceived. ZANU-PF is the only party with a revolutionary history, a sustainable agenda for the present and a vision for the future. Similarly, we cannot achieve sustainable development without the partnership and participation of young people in our society. Our young people have an important role to play in achieving peace, security, stability, and good governance in our beloved motherland. We need our young people's ideas, and we need their energy. Since the advent of the Second Republic, working with our institutions of higher learning, we have seen what young people can do in terms of innovation and the use of technology and science to solve problems and create goods and services that meet the needs of our country. Their ability, young people, to mobilize using technology to raise awareness among the wider population of important social issues is incredible. Our young generation are far, far ahead of us in science and technology, or even in matters of communication. You remember in the past, to walk to carry a message, or use a bicycle to carry a message, or a sports car to carry a message. Then we developed using a car or a train. But they themselves can communicate in a second with their colleagues in Cape Town, or their colleagues in Kinshasa, in a second. So we must embrace science and technology and give our young people space. I urge you as the League to harness the potential of young women by accommodating them in your structures and creating space for them to have an input into your policies, strategies, programs, and projects. Equally, never grow tired of advancing the ideals of patriotism, loyalty, and discipline, right from the family level to your churches and other social institutions. As active combatants, comrades, and mothers, your mobilization must never neglect deepening the revolutionary culture among the young generation. This must be informed by discipline and the national character of unity. Patriotism, you have one country, you have one nation, and that is Zimbabwe. Our country is a unitary state. We must be patriotic to our country. We must be loyal to our country. We must, with humility, serve our country. Comrades, as you continue to grow your support base, guard against the use of dirty tactics and the money by some of you for the purpose of infiltrating and attaining positions within your league by using money. The harnessing of linkages between the Women's League and the diaspora population to advance the Zimbabwe is open for business mantra must be pursued with greater focus. I'm happy that you asked some groups from the diaspora, various countries who stood up. Congratulations. Finally, it is critical for us all to ensure that we adhere to the constitutional prerogatives of our colossal party. The outcome of this elective conference and the accompanying resolutions should galvanize our party as we move into the future. I wish you all a successful National Conference of Women's League, characterized by constructive, frank, and robust debate, discussions towards growing and strengthening our party in general and Women's League in particular. With these remarks, it is now my single honor and privilege to declare the 7th Women's League National Conference officially open. Viva ZANU-PF! Amanda! Amanda! Viva ZANU-PF! Viva ZANU-PF! Viva Women's League! Viva Women's League! Patana! Patana! Warung Sangano! Warung